"I'm sorry, John, but we need you to leave the company." I was called into the HR director's office and was told this. "My name's John. I was working as a full-time employee at a grocery store. And yes, I had just been laid off. Due to the store's financial struggles over the past few years, they resulted to cut personnel costs through a massive downsizing. That day, I became jobless. I slowly pedaled my bicycle on the way home. I didn't even feel like making dinner. Although it'd be a bit of a detour, I thought of picking up a takeaway burger, so I took a less traveled back street off the main road. Just when I was almost at the burger shop, I noticed an elderly lady sitting on the ground. "Are you okay?" I hopped off my bike and hurried over. She had fallen and hurt her leg. She couldn't get up on her own and was in distress since there weren't any people around to help. "Sorry about this, could you give me a hand? Without something to hold onto, it's hard to get up." Ouch. Even though she grimaced in pain, it seemed like she could walk with a limp. I quickly gathered up her scattered groceries and put them back in her bag. "Good that nothing here looks broken or crushed. Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver." As we talked, I properly looked into the elderly lady's face for the first time. "Wait a minute, aren't you that guy from the store?" With what she said, I finally remembered. This elderly lady was a regular customer at the grocery store where I worked. Perhaps recognizing a familiar face put her at ease, as she looked relieved. She tried to receive the grocery bags from me, but it was clear she couldn't carry them and walk. I asked if there was anyone who could come pick her up, but at this time of day, no one was at home. Worried she might fall again, I decided to carry her bags and accompany her home. "I'm so sorry, John. Thank you." She held onto my arm and we walked slowly together. "If you could lead me to a handrail, I'll be fine from there. Thanks so much for helping." She kept apologizing, so I reassured her with a smile that it was no trouble at all. "You really are kind. You always serve customers with a smile at the store, which makes me very happy." While I appreciated her kind words, it made me feel a bit conflicted. That feeling turned into a faint ha-ha laugh. "You seem a bit down. Everything okay?" She gave me a curious look, occasionally glancing at my face. "Well, actually, today was my last day at that store." "Oh dear, were you transferred or did you find another job?" When she asked, I honestly told her that I'd been laid off. As we chatted, we arrived at her house. It was a slightly large single-family home, with stylish flower beds on both sides of the walkway, leading to the entrance. With garden lights illuminating our path, we walked slowly towards the front door. "You can put everything down here. That bag must have been heavy. I'm truly grateful that you passed by, thank you." There's a step leading to the front door, and the thought of her possibly falling inside had me concerned. "If you don't mind, I can carry it inside for you." Upon my offer, the elderly lady replied with a pleased look, "Well then, I might just accept your kind offer." After I finished carrying the bag, she offered me some tea as her proof of appreciation. Just then, her cell phone rang. "Oh, it's Ashley. Please excuse me for a moment." She apologized to me and took the call, updating the person on the other end about the situation. "There's no need to rush. Could you pick up some lunch?" Yes, that sounds good. Thanks, dear." She hung up the phone after saying that. That was my granddaughter. She said she'll be home soon. Hearing that, I felt relieved and thought about leaving. "Wait, Ashley is bringing lunch. It's getting late, and she said she's getting lunch for you too. I think she's already picked it up from the deli. Please, can you at least accept that from us?" Hearing her plea, I hesitated about what to do. Then, I decided to graciously accept her kind offer. I was invited to sit, and we made small talk until Ashley returned. The elderly lady began talking about Ashley. Ashley's parents had passed away in a car accident when she was still young. Unfortunately, the couple were both involved in the accident. From then on, it's just been the two of them living together. Ashley has grown up, but she stays with her grandmother, always worrying about her. She said it's clear how caring and gentle Ashley is, always putting her grandmother as first. Every day after work, she comes straight home without any detours. At the end, elderly lady expressed concerns about Ashley not dating and wishes she'd think about her own happiness soon. She probably can't leave the house because she's worried about me, she mentioned. You know, I'd be thrilled if a kind person like you married her. Oh, speaking of which, would you consider marrying my granddaughter? What? She really is a wonderful girl and quite clever. This turn of events was absolutely unexpected. Having her suddenly propose marriage threw me off, and the tender feelings I'd felt earlier flew right out the window. But it got me thinking, is being offered a marriage proposal a common thing in the service industry? I've been approached with the "how about my daughter" line at the supermarket before, and I've heard my female coworker getting the "be my son's bride" line. It's always awkward when someone says that. All you can really do is laugh it off. Suddenly, I heard "I'm home" from the entrance. I figured Ashley must have returned, and I got up from my seat. As I turned toward the door, there she was, just entering the room. "Hi, I hope I'm not bothering you," I said. "I'm so sorry for the trouble. It seems my grandma has been in your care. Thank you so much." She looked apologetic, but I was captivated by her appearance. Ashley was in her office uniform, her hair pulled back, and she was strikingly fair-skinned with bright eyes. She had a gentle vibe, seeming like such a kind soul. I just kept bowing my head slightly, losing my words in front of her. The elderly lady turned to Ashley, starting to chatter away with a happy gleam in her eyes. "Welcome home. So, this gentleman here, he's the cashier from the grocery store I always visit. I'm so glad such a kind soul was there to help me out. So, Ashley, what do you think of him? He's genuinely a great guy. Seems like Grandma brought home a potential guy for you." The elderly lady placed her hand over her mouth, her face beaming with joy. Seeing her like this, Ashley responded with a confused tone. "What are you talking about? I mean, he could be your future husband." Upon hearing that, I was taken aback, wondering if her earlier comment was really just a joke. Of course, Ashley was just as surprised and flustered. "Grandma, what are you saying? It's rude to say that about someone I've just met. I'm so sorry." "Oh dear, I've met him several times before." I couldn't help but chuckle, commenting, "You two really seem close." Ashley, with an apologetic look, thanked me for the day and handed me a packed lunch. Knowing she had bought one for me, I gratefully accepted it. Then, the elderly lady asked, "Why don't you eat it now?" Ashley intervened. "I don't think that's fine with him," and I decided to decline her offer. I expressed my gratitude, and Ashley and I headed towards the entrance. As I put on my shoes and looked back, the elderly lady was limping over to send me off. "Thank you so much. I'm sorry for keeping you up late. And I apologize for not expressing my gratitude properly. Feel free to visit next time." I responded, "Not at all. Thank you for the lunch," feeling warm-hearted by their kindness. I perceived her words as her polite social etiquettes, but they still warmed my heart. Just as I was about to open the door and leave, something happened. "That's right. If it's not too much trouble, could you come over again tomorrow? With this leg, I might not be able to manage it." Apparently, she's arranged a delivery of plants and saplings for her garden tomorrow. But with the pain in her leg, she might not be able to do the job properly. As the elderly lady was speaking, Ashley seemed confused upon hearing what she said. "That's just too much. Grandma, you're acting weird today. Are you okay? You didn't hit your head, did you? Let me check if you have any injuries." "I didn't hit my head at all. It's just my foot that hurts." Ashley seemed genuinely concerned, checking Grandma's head for any injuries and asking if anywhere else hurt. With what the elderly lady has asked me, I was surprised too, although I'm jobless anyway and I don't have any plans for tomorrow. If she needs help, I have plenty of time. Should I come over tomorrow? Only if it's not a bother. Ashley hesitated, apologizing, but in the end, we agreed I'd visit in the afternoon. The next day, as promised, I went to the elderly lady's place. "Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver." While I had the elderly lady sit on a small chair, she taught me how to care for the garden. After all, we both enjoyed this moment. But during that, I heard an interesting story. Currently, Ashley is working full-time in an office, but apparently, she's always dreamed of opening a cafe since she was little. She's even graduated from a culinary school. During her college days, she had experience working part-time in eateries, but in the end, she chose to be an office worker. Even if she were to own a cafe or work full-time in one, she'd be working from morning until late at night. But she definitely still want to open a cafe. The reason the elderly lady mentioned me being a potential spouse for Ashley was because she thought if there was someone skilled in customer service, she could start her cafe confidently. Plus, she genuinely felt that Ashley and I might get along well. The day after hearing that, I went over to the elderly lady's house again. After replanting some flowers yesterday, there was some space left, so I decided to buy more plants to fill it. Today's Saturday, and it seems Ashley had a day off, and I made her quite surprised. "Goodness, Grandma, did you ask him to come again today? I hope it's not too much trouble. I'm really sorry." Upon seeing me, Ashley immediately apologized, and I briefly explained the circumstances of my visit today. After planting the additional flowers and watering them, Ashley kindly offered, "Why don't you take a break?" Sitting on the porch, the three of us sipped on our coffee. Then, the elderly lady cleared her throat softly and said, "Hey, Ashley, I really want you to achieve your dreams soon." "Huh, what do you mean?" Ashley tried to play it off with a tight-lipped smile. "I don't want you to hold back just for me. I know you're still planning a lot of things." The elderly lady revealed that she knew how Ashley secretly jots down numerous notes in preparation for her dream. It'd be tough to do it alone, but maybe with someone else's help it'd be easier. "John here is great with customers. How about getting some help from him?" "Oh, Grandma, you can't just say things easily." I noticed a slight teariness in Ashley's eyes as she responded, "If Ashley's okay with it, I love dealing with customers. But I know trusting an unemployed guy is a hard thing." "No way, John, I love the way you handle your customers. You'd be a great partner for Ashley." Without missing a beat, the elderly lady said that, making both Ashley and me chuckle. "Oh, Grandma, always acting wild on your own," Ashley playfully remarked. The three of us laughed, lightening the mood for a bit, but soon after, Ashley's expression changed and she seemed deep in thought, biting her lip. "You know, maybe Grandma's right. Maybe now's the time to start," Ashley murmured, as if speaking to herself. Maybe she changed her mind, but Ashley mentioned she will reflect on it for a day. Then, the following Sunday, I went over to the elderly lady's house again. It seemed her leg was improving, so I thought of making today the last day of taking care of her. As I was working on the garden with the elderly lady, I was approached by Ashley, asking, "Can I talk to you for a sec?" She had prepared coffee on the porch, and in her hand, she held a notebook. "It's a little embarrassing, but can you take a look?" She handed over the notebook she had been gripping tightly. Flipping through a page, it was filled with writing. Surprisingly, every page was like that. There were drawings of an ideal cafe's exterior, food illustrations, and tons of recipes. I couldn't help but exclaim, "This is amazing. I've been thinking about opening a cafe. I really want to do what I love." Ashley, looking a bit shy, said this with her eyes sparkling. When Ashley thought about doing it on her own, she was worried about being completely tied down to the business and also concerned about her grandma at home all by herself. But she felt that if someone could be with her, it might ease some of that stress. Moreover, Ashley mentioned she had seen me working at the grocery store. She recalled that I had good customer service skills. If it's not too much trouble, could you join me? I know it's a bit shameless of me to ask. The idea of me becoming a cafe employee wasn't something I had taken too seriously. I never expected her to actually ask. But seeing Ashley's passion in her notes and my own desire to work in customer service again, combined with my urge to try something different, I felt a spark. If you're okay with me, let's do this together. I held my hand out to Ashley. Seeing this, Ashley looked surprised but gave a joyful smile. We then firmly shook hands. She must have been nervous asking me. "Oh, thank goodness," she exclaimed, shaking my hand vigorously. She was genuinely happy. "Shall we open up our own cafe?" she asked excitedly. "Let's go for it." I matched her enthusiasm and responded cheerfully. From that day on, Ashley and I exchanged contact information, communicated through emails, and discussed things at home. We looked at vacant store spaces together and consulted with contractors. Ashley steadily progressed with the preparations, and I supported her throughout. In addition, I began a morning part-time job until the cafe was set up. Although I had some savings, I thought it would be a good idea to earn a bit more for daily expenses since I had the time. And 6 months later, the cafe opened. We found a perfect little vacant shop, and with some renovations, we were ready to start. On the opening day, the place was bustling with neighbors, friends, and people who had seen our flyers. After closing on the grand opening day, they held a celebratory gathering, with the elderly lady joining in too. "Thank you, John, for making this dream come true with me." "No, I should be the one thanking you. See, I knew my intuition about you was right. Must be fate." Honestly, fate and destiny might be more real than I thought. The day I was laid off from my job, I helped an elderly lady and met her granddaughter, Ashley. Now, I'm working beside Ashley to open her dream cafe. You see, John, it wasn't in vain, right? You might have been down that day, thinking about why you've been working for all this time, but now your warm hospitality is shining. It all had a purpose, and of course, it's also because you are such a good person, right, Ashley? Grandma found a keeper, didn't she? At that, both Ashley and I exchanged shy smiles. Then the elderly lady added, "It reminds me of the old days," looking at Ashley's parents. Saying that, she had a distant look in her eyes. Ashley was taken aback by those words and looked at her grandmother's face. "Ashley, you look like your mom and has a fine charm like her. John, you have that gentle aura, just like my son." Ashley was so young back then that I don't think she remembers, but you see, this is where Ashley's parents used to have their shop. Hearing that, both I and Ashley exclaimed, "What?" in surprise. Turns out, Ashley's parents used to run a coffee shop right at this spot. The elderly lady realized it when she came to see the store after renovation was finished. She was so shocked that she was speechless. When she got home and went to her room, that's when her emotions finally caught up, and she broke down crying. She thought about telling Ashley right away, but she decided to keep it quiet until the store officially opened. She wanted Ashley, who was so passionately chasing her dream, to be able to build the store freely without any disruptions. But as the interior progressed steadily, the elderly lady was even more astounded. Ashley's tastes were just like her parents. Whether she was told earlier or not, it would have been the same. And then there was the bank buck she gave Ashley as startup fund. Turns out, it was the life insurance money from Ashley's parents that Grandma had carefully saved just for Ashley. The elderly lady, with teary eyes, said that she's sure Ashley's parents would be delighted to have been able to support Ashley's dream. Also, those sunflowers displayed in the shop, it was John who suggested decorating with them, wasn't it? He said they perfectly matched Ashley's vibe. You know, my son once told Ashley's mom the same thing. It's truly mysterious. It might not have been a coincidence, but destiny. Hearing this, I felt emotions I've never felt before. Did I make it a bit melancholic? At her words, all three of us managed to smile and wiped away our tears. Suddenly, she exclaimed, "Oh," clapped her hands and leaned forward. "Now, you two, don't you have something important to discuss? Got something to tell your old granny, don't ya?" Puzzled, as Ashley and I exchanged glances, the grandma chuckled, causing both Ashley and I to blush. "Oh my, was I early? Haven't you told her yet? I've known for a while." With that, the elderly lady burst into laughter again. "Well, I should just leave you two alone." Grinning, the elderly lady headed to the back room. Left alone, Ashley and I awkwardly looked at each other and shared a shy smile. But this was it. It was now or never. Would you, what? That was when we officially started dating. Time flew, and as for the cafe, thanks to everyone's support, it's been thriving. Our whole grain bread and vegetable-rich sandwiches for breakfast have become a hit. They're low in sugar and calories, which is one of our top recommendations. Ashley and I are getting along very well, both in the kitchen and the dining area. About 3 months into our relationship, we started to discuss about our marriage. And on our cafe's first anniversary, we actually registered our marriage. When we broke the news to the grandma, she cried tears of joy. After getting married, the three of us live in the grandma's house. She told us, "You're newlyweds, why not live on your own?" But I felt safer here, and above all, it was more fun living with her. Thanks to that, every day is filled with smiles. I hope we continue to live with this happiness and harmony.